For many of us, the old containers have broken. Organized religions have largely lost their institutional authority, while scientific materialism, for all its practical brilliance, has left us with a cosmos that feels completely disenchanted. Yet the hunger for meaning persists, shifting into new territories. We see it in the rising interest in psychedelics, millions seeking quiet through meditation apps, and a profound collective ecological anxiety about our relationship to the planet. Earthism provides a foundational map, a coordinate system for 50,000 years of human striving toward the divine. Beneath every tradition lies a single core intuition: there is more than what appears. The entire material world, the rocks underfoot, our physical bodies, the stars above, all float on or emerge from a much deeper, unnameable foundation. Terms like Brahman, Tao, Ein Sof, and Tohen function as distinct cultural filters, each focusing on the same underlying ground state of being. When viewed through this framework, spiritual traditions reveal themselves as a collective human effort to name and navigate the invisible architecture of the world. Every spiritual tradition organizes itself around three great questions. The first is cosmogony. How did this all begin? Answers typically range from creation out of an absolute void, to a divine being dismembered to form the world, to the universe springing from a sacred sound or vibration. The second question is anthropology. What are we? Here, common answers describe humanity either as exiled souls trying to remember our origin, or as an evolving consciousness slowly waking up to itself through physical form. The third is soteriology. How do we get free? This question outlines the specific methods, like absolute devotion, direct intellectual insight, disciplined physical purification, or right action in the world. To answer these questions, most traditions map out a stratified cosmos. At the top sits the absolute void or source, filtering down through archetypal and celestial beings, moving into the subtle realm of dreams, dropping down into our physical, material reality, and resting finally on the underworld, the domain of the unconscious. The specific names of these realms change depending on geography and era, but their recurrence across entirely isolated cultures points towards a shared human discovery about the naturally layered state of our own consciousness. Populating this map are recurring archetypal figures. Across continents, you will consistently find the trickster, the boundary crosser and rule breaker who catalyzes change and disrupts stagnant systems. You will find the dying and rising god, a figure whose death and resurrection mirrors the cyclical patterns of seasons and harvests. And you will almost always find a world tree or axis mundi. This serves as the vertical anchor connecting the underworld, the middle world of humans, and the heavens. Humanity paired these cosmic frameworks with practical technologies of the sacred, tools developed to bridge the gap between the material and the divine. One of the oldest tools is ritual, a sequence of patterned physical actions designed to open doors. These intricate ground designs aren't merely decorative art. They map the dreaming sites and act as an interface to interact directly with subtle realms. Other methods involve using the body as a vessel for insight. Fasting and meditation silence mental static, while sacred plants induce physiological states that bypass our normal sensory filters. These practices span the globe, yet their mechanisms are remarkably consistent. They act as highly evolved psychological and physiological methods for hacking human perception. We live at a point of high friction. Ecological crisis and the collapse of traditional containers create a widespread sense of threshold, echoing the Hindu yugas or the Western concept of changing eons. If you decide to engage with this material, there are traps to avoid, specifically the tendency to collect spiritual trivia from a dozen different cultures without committing to the depth of any single practice. The records left by practitioners across history emphasize depth over breadth. They suggest that studying one tradition fully reveals more than collecting fragments of many. These accounts highlight the importance of humility and the rigorous documentation of one's own internal insights. Most importantly, remember that reading about meditation is not meditating. A map can show you the paths, but the map is never the territory itself. These archives of ritual and archetype persist because they are records of encounter. They represent thousands of years of humans navigating the numinous and leaving behind a trail of descriptions for those who follow. Those records can point the way, but they cannot substitute for your own direct experience. The door is open. It has always been open. It only requires the courage to step off the map and see what you find.